Tonight, calling out hate.
We hold our place and make it known that this is not okay.
Violent messaging denounced ahead of a rally for community safety. Plus, a scooter crash turns deadly. The latest on the investigation in northeast London as the victim's injuries prove fatal. And rallying for remote work.
Why are we going back to this Stone Age?
Public sector employees pushing back on the province's mandate.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an update to yesterday's northeast London crash involving someone riding an e-scooter. Witnesses reported he was hit by a paratransit bus driver, and today police said he succumbed to his injuries. With the latest, here's Bryan Bicknell.
This was the scene Wednesday. Emergency crews responding to Beckworth Avenue in northeast London around 4:20 in the afternoon for a collision involving a paratransit van and an e-scooter.
And we are still in the early stages of that investigation, and the road safety section has begun taking over that investigation.
The driver of the vehicle remained at the scene. The man on the scooter was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Staff Sergeant Michael Anderson with the LPS Road Safety Section says the 47-year-old has now died.
As a result of the collision, an adult male who was operating an e-scooter, one that you stand up on, has passed away as a result of the injuries from the collision.
The investigation follows a recent report from the Canadian Institute for Health Information, which showed a 32% increase in reported e-scooter hospitalizations over 1 year, rising to 498 from 375. These e-scooter drivers say the convenience, low cost, and enjoyment outweigh the risks.
It's pretty fun. It's easy to navigate, easy to control. They're very fast.
If you're not paying attention, I'm sure it'd be unsafe, but if you're paying attention, you'll be okay.
As for the rules of the road for e-scooters, some of them overlap with e-bikes, but not all of them. For instance, an e-scooter can only go up to 24 kilometers per hour, whereas an e-bike can go up to 32 kilometers per hour under the Highway Traffic Act. Cycling advocate Andrew McClanahan says road safety comes down to building roads for all who use them.
There's more blind spots to check. There's a bit of changes with the infrastructure in town where you need to think about, maybe someone will be coming up on my right at a different velocity. Just take it slow or even just drive the speed limit.
In the meantime, police say they're looking for more information for their investigation. Anyone who was on Beckworth at the time of the collision on Wednesday is asked to reach out to police. Bryan Bicknell, CTV News.
Local advocacy groups are preparing for tonight's Take Back the Night event, and they're doing so while dealing with hateful messaging targeting women. Gerry Dewan has more on the violent language used and the reaction.
The messages were scrawled on the bridge and sidewalk along Fanshawe Park Road West, east of Wonderland. They were first reported around 7:30 Tuesday evening. London Abused Women's Centre Executive Director Jen Dunn worries for those impacted by the hateful graffiti.
It has a major impact, especially on those who have been subjected to violence, right? It brings up whether it's memories of what they've been subjected to, and you know what, it's going to even be hurtful to women who have never been subjected to violence because it feels like a targeted attack.
Well, the graffiti was cleaned up shortly after it was identified. Dunn says it's an example of how misogynistic hate speech continues to exist in our community and needs to be addressed.
For the first time in over 5 years, a Take Back the Night march will take place in London Thursday evening, with participants gathering in Victoria Park. Take Back the Night marches are held annually around the world to stress the importance of work being done to ensure women can feel safe and secure in their community. Dunn says the graffiti only amplifies the importance of that work.
It's very important that we are there tonight. We, participate in the discussion. We take over the street. We, hold our place and make it known that this is not okay.
Dunn also points to the trial of 5 World Junior hockey players found not guilty of sexual assault after a sexual encounter with a woman in a London hotel room in June of 2018. She says the verdict centered on the legal definition of consent, but she says what that doesn't speak to is the situation where a woman found herself surrounded by young men and what could have or should have been done.
We can see, based on the work that we do here, where there would have been moments for any one of those guys to say, hey, wait a second, this is maybe not okay. Like, there are this many of us and only one of her.
This is also the first year the province recognizes Consent Awareness Week, which will be observed annually during the 3rd week of September. Dunn says based on what happened in the trial, there continues to be the need for further conversation.
There was still something wrong that happened, right? And I think everybody knows that. Not guilty does not mean innocent. Not guilty, it doesn't mean that nothing happened.
London police say the investigation into the Fanshawe Park Road graffiti is now in the hands of their hate crime unit. Gerry, Dewan, CTV News.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. A gorgeous evening right across the region. Plenty of sunshine today. We're not through with this summer-like weather. The high for us, 28 degrees. That's where we're sitting right now. A little bit of humidity in play today as well earlier, but we are dealing with a low pressure system, believe it or not, further to the north. And as it swings on through, you can see the winds are starting to shift out of the north-northwest, about 17 kilometers per hour. And as the system moves, parts of the region to the east of us saw some spotty showers. The rest of us, it didn't really impact us. The story with that system is the cooler temperatures it's going to leave behind for tonight and into tomorrow. But the good news is the sunshine's sticking around for another couple of days before rain finally returns to the region. I'll walk you through the weekend forecast coming up a little later in the show. But for now, back to you, Carlyle.
Thanks very much, Rita. A manslaughter trial got underway in London today for a woman accused in the death of a 15-month-old toddler. The young victim, Nathaniel McClellan, died in October 2015. He lived in Park Hill, and days before his death, he had been in the care of his babysitter, Megan Van Hoof. The 46-year-old ran a home daycare in Strathroy. She was charged after a lengthy police investigation and has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter. The trial is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. London police say they've laid an assault charge after a stabbing in Soho yesterday. They say the victim was attacked Wednesday afternoon, suffering serious injuries. According to police, a suspect was arrested about 2 hours later. 2 London City councillors are bringing an updated motion to council next week after a recent attempt failed to gain traction. They're pushing for more clarity on the living conditions in London's supportive housing units rented through a municipal program. With more, here's Daryl Newcombe.
Lives are at stake. Councillor Susan Stevenson has reworked a motion seeking information about London's housing stability programs. It comes in the wake of this video showing the living conditions in an affordable apartment rented as supportive housing for a homeless Londoner.
Let us know what's not working about this current policy. Why do the apartments look like that? Maybe they can't get access to do the proper inspections.
Stevenson's motion would direct city staff to prepare a report by October 20th that includes issues identified by partner social agencies such as tenant participation, refusal of supports or inspections, and removing tenants that put others at risk. Recommendations to amend the existing contracts to address the issues, overall success rates and trends of tenants maintaining stability, and recommendations including service delivery and advocacy to senior governments. The deputy mayor has agreed to second the motion.
I sit on the board of LMCH. I know that it is not always the service provider, that it is sometimes the tenant that is creating the barrier to delivering services. If that's the case, I want us to understand that.
It was at the September 8th meeting of the Community and Protective Services Committee that Councillor Stevenson was unsuccessful getting a somewhat similar motion onto the agenda for next week's council meeting. Stevenson believes the motion is urgent and can't wait until the next cycle of committee meetings.
The smoke alarms are down, there's evidence of illegal activity, and it's a fire hazard. It's a hazard for the neighborhood. So this cannot wait.
Project Home connects individuals referred by City Hall with affordable apartments and supports in the form of visits by social agencies. St. Leonard's Community Services recently told CTV News that out of hundreds of placements, the issues seen in the landlord's video have only happened a handful of times.
Find a way to move forward and improve the policies that we have in place so that we get the outcome that we want, which is safe, permanent housing.
I'm not a fan of the revolving door approach. I want to know that this is actually going to be providing some longer-term stability. So what does success look like? How are we defining that?
City Council meets on September 23rd. Daryl, Newcombe, CTV News.
Provincial employees were protesting outside Queen's Park today, demanding the government change course on forcing them back to the office full-time. As Siobhan Morris reports, thousands have signed a petition calling for a reversal.
Hundreds of public sector workers spill out of office buildings near Queen's Park, pushing back on a plan that will see them in the office 5 days a week starting in January.
Why are we going back to this Stone Age?
While remote work became the norm during the pandemic, labor union AMAPSIO says their members have had flexibility to do it for 15 years.
It's been proven to work. We've proven that we are professionals who can get the job done.
Right now, public service employees are only required to be in the office 3 days a week. Last month, the Premier emphasized helping businesses that rely on commuters and the importance of being face-to-face.
Everyone's more productive when they're at work, and how do you mentor someone over a phone? You can't.
These boxes represent the 13,000 people AMAPSIO says have signed a petition telling Doug Ford he's wrong. Workers who have had flexibility to go in or work from home insist it's a better setup for the taxpayers who pay their salaries.
When I work from home, I'm well rested and I can work longer.
Actually means that I can do better work. I'm wasting less time commuting, less time having to take breaks.
There's a feeling here of being insulted, disrespected by the return to office edict.
Our members are angry, and we're here today to, tell the government, our employer, that this was unfair. Logistically, it's not going to work.
Including what AMAPSIO says is a lack of appropriate space to work.
I deal with confidential labor relations issues. I don't want to be talking about them when there's 20 people around.
AMAPSIO is meeting with the Secretary of Cabinet at the end of the month, hoping for a change of heart. But at this moment, the government's return to office plan remains in place. A spokesperson for Treasury Board President Caroline Mulrooney explains the 5 days per week in workplace standard represents the current workforce landscape in the province, reinforcing our commitment to reflecting the people and businesses we serve across Ontario. Workers do see value in being together.
But there's value in letting people take care of their families. There's value in letting people get home immediately instead of spending 1, 2, 3 hours a day in commute. It means that we're better rested. It means we're energized and we're able to give our best every day.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Canada Post officials say they have new offers ready for union review, an attempt at moving negotiations forward. According to the Crown Corporation, the new terms allow the two sides to get back to the bargaining table next week. Last month, union members voted down what Canada Post officials had called their final offer. Union leaders responded with their own proposal, which was called a step backward. When the pro sports calendar ramps back up, and with it an onslaught of gambling advertising. For many fans, they could be just starting a new fantasy football season. Lauren Stallone has more on the importance of playing responsibly.
The month of September might mark the end of summer, but it also means the start of fantasy football season.
Sports is my way to escape and kind of break away, especially with the pressures from school.
For Western University student Travis Mackay, fantasy football has allowed him to stay connected to the sports world.
I am an avid sports fan. Throughout my entire life, I grew up playing sports, so it's been a key part about who I am.
He says participating in the game is a great way to stay in touch with friends.
Whether you're kind of making fun of them for how bad your team is or really being excited about how the team you follow is doing well, plus your fantasy team's going well, so it's always a good time.
And while for Mackay, fantasy football is nothing more than friendly competition, mental health experts say the impact on an individual can be far from casual.
Typically when they're spending more time than they should gambling, their mood is dropping, so they might be feeling some more depression or some more anxiety.
Health professionals say young people are especially vulnerable to addiction.
Their brains are still developing up until around the age of 26.
But for Travis, he reminds himself the goal is simple: to have fun.
We all know what everyone's limitations are, and we don't want to really push those kind of boundaries. And I know people can and have experienced stuff where they've kind of gone past that limit, and that's where things kind of get wary.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
London's longest-running lunch and launch campaign by the local United Way is back.
It marks the official start of the United Way campaign season. So we're here at City Plaza. There's about 1,000 people here enjoying lunch. And the best part is with each ticket sold, we buy a meal for someone in need in our community.
Organizers say they want to encourage paying it forward through their campaign. According to the United Way, all donations stay local, with nearly 70% of funding coming from community members, an important part of supporting people who need help.
There's good you can do in the world. We hear a lot of bad news these days. This is a really good news story about people who care about their local community.
When we come back, the Prime Minister's trip to Mexico, seeking support in looming North American trade talks. Plus, Jimmy Kimmel taken off the air, why his network pulled the plug on his popular late-night show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Mexico on a trade mission, trying to strengthen our relationship with Mexican leaders. However, as Judy Trin reports, these meetings come after several premiers made remarks which may add tension to those talks.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is using this bilateral meeting with President Claudia Sheinbaum to reset a relationship that had been previously sidelined. Today, the two signed a comprehensive strategic partnership. The emphasis on strengthening ties with Mexico comes as U.S. President Donald Trump begins the process of unraveling CUSMA, the North American Trade Agreement. Last year, Canada did $56 billion of trade with Mexico, and Carney wants to boost that number. The Prime Minister is meeting with President Sheinbaum one-on-one. The leaders will discuss more cooperation to combat the trafficking of drugs, guns, and people. But the focus will be on building up their economies. They will also have a working lunch with top ministers, including Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand, along with Dominic LeBlanc, the lead minister responsible for U.S. trade negotiations. While the leaders talk about increasing trade with each other, it will be a conversation in the context of Trump's desire for a new North American deal.
They will be discussing their approach to the possible renegotiation of the CUSMA, but I think they're going to walk a careful balance in that they don't want to appear to be ganging up on the United States on this.
After their 4-hour meeting wraps up, the Prime Minister will hold a reception for Canadian business leaders who want to expand into Mexico. Judy Trin, CTV News, Mexico City.
President Donald Trump has wrapped up his state visit to the UK. He received the royal treatment yesterday before meetings today with the British Prime Minister. With more on the takeaways from a whirlwind 2 days, here's Joy Malbin.
The U.S. president arrived at the British Prime Minister's country estate. Donald Trump still glowing. After the pomp of yesterday's royal extravaganza, it was back to politics.
I think it's an unbreakable bond.
This partnership today is a signal of our determination to win this race together.
After inking a massive technology partnership between the UK and America, in taking questions, the leaders dodged some diplomatic minefields. Asked about Britain's plan to recognize a Palestinian state, Trump simply said,
I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score.
And that was that. On the question of Ukraine, after Trump's peace effort with Vladimir Putin fizzled out, some of Trump's strongest words yet.
He's let me down. He's really let me down. You thought you were going to have an easy time or a hard time, and it turns out to be the reverse.
But still resisting more sanctions on Putin at odds with Britain's Prime Minister, who pushed Trump to go further.
Putin has shown his true face, mounting the biggest attacks since the invasion began.
And one of the thorniest questions about convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein haunting the president even here. The scandal also involves the just-fired British ambassador to Washington, Peter Mandelson.
I don't know him, actually. I had heard that.
The British Prime Minister couldn't help but smile, managing to contain the often unpredictable president while strengthening ties between two nations. After one of the largest royal rollouts for a U.S. president, some British commentators praised the state visit as a diplomatic coup. Others not so kind. Joy Malvin, CTV News, London.
Widespread outrage today after talk show host Jimmy Kimmel was pulled off the air. His show was put on hiatus after ABC executives took issue with Kimmel's comments on the killing of Charlie Kirk. As Heather Wright reports, it appears a whole lot of politics is at play.
The controversy all stems from comments late-night host Jimmy Kimmel made on his show on Monday.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Kimmel went on to criticize Donald Trump's mourning of Kirk, pointing to the president's answer when asked how he was holding up.
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Kimmel's comments were slammed by many on the right, including the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, who issued an unsubtle threat to ABC and its affiliates, implying broadcast licenses could be at risk if they did not take action against Kimmel. Nexstar, an ABC affiliate that is trying to merge with another group and will need FCC approval, was the first to yank Kimmel. ABC followed suit shortly after.
Trump and his allies seem to want to shut down speech that they don't like to hear.
ABC is not the first to acquiesce to pressure from the White House. CBS settled a lawsuit over a 60 Minutes interview that coincided with a merger between its parent company Paramount and Skydance. CBS has also announced plans to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a move the network says was due to costs. Today, Trump downplayed freedom of speech concerns, calling Kimmel's ouster a business decision.
You can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
But on social media, Trump suggested other late-night hosts should be next. That leaves Jimmy and Seth two total losers, referring to The Tonight Show's Jimmy Fallon and late-night host Seth Meyers. Do it, NBC. In Ottawa, the Bloc Québécois leader declined to directly weigh in on the controversy, but paraphrased the philosopher Voltaire.
I profoundly disagree with what you say, but I will fight to the end for you to have the right to say it.
And while Jimmy Kimmel has not been officially fired, it's not clear if he will ever return to his show.
Heather Wright, CTV News.
A major change is coming for the Canadian Screen Awards next year. The awards recognize the country's top talent in film, television, and digital sectors. According to the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television, nominees will now only be eligible for awards in 2026 if they hold Canadian citizenship or permanent residency. Academy officials say they consulted with the creative community before making this decision, saying this change reflects our ongoing commitment to recognizing and uplifting Canadian talent, ensuring the Canadian Screen Awards continue shining a much-deserved spotlight on our incredibly talented creators. Back now with Rita Ismail for a look at the forecast. And Rita, we are basking in this late summer glow. Another lovely day here in mid-September. Doesn't feel like fall yet.
No, it certainly did not today. 28 degrees, Carlyle. We are well above normal, 21. And at times, again, it felt warmer than that at about 32 with the humidity. As we head into the night, we are seeing the temperatures start to drop. Now, the record it was on this day in 1955. Record low -1 in 1943. The sun set at 7:28 this evening, and it should be a good one. You could really see where that low pressure system has already swung, and here's how. These temperatures, 21 in Wyerton, 23 in Mount Forest, 26 here. So that divide as that system moves through is definitely there. There is that low pressure system. It didn't pack much in the way of rainfall, just a lot of cloud cover as it moves through. And then, of course, clearing out overnight tonight. which means lots of sunshine and high pressure returning for your Friday. Another gorgeous late summer day for you tomorrow, but it will be more comfortable in terms of temperatures. We're looking at a daytime high at or slightly above seasonal. For us here, it's about 23 degrees. This evening, great patio weather, great night to get out there and walk. Nice calm breeze out of the northwest, about 10 kilometers per hour. Those winds, of course, shifting in behind that low pressure system, and overnight calm and comfortable conditions as well. For your Friday, we'll wake up to a bit of cloud cover, but then that cloud will clear out nice and quick. 19 degrees around noon hour, mainly sunny skies, and again 23 degrees for your Friday. Your 7-day forecast is brought to you by Metal Roof Outlet. So beautiful couple of days ahead, 23 degrees, much like what we've had this past week. Absolutely gorgeous conditions. And in terms of rainfall, though, we do need that rain. We haven't had much of it, and we're expecting a little bit Sunday. Late in the day, we're going to see the system move through just in time for the first day of fall on Monday. We're going to be dealing with a little bit of shower activity Monday and Tuesday. Still not a lot of rainfall in this forecast, but definitely more cloud cover, and the temperatures tumbling to about 22 degrees Wednesday and Thursday, which is again seasonal for this time of year. Midwestern Ontario, similar conditions in terms of sunshine, but noticeably cooler for you along the shores of Lake Huron tomorrow, especially with the wind shift, the wind out of the north-northwest. You'll feel it. You'll wake up Saturday to 7 degrees, and then mix of sun and cloud both Saturday and Sunday. Late day rain, if any at all, for you in Midwestern Ontario, because that next system pushing in from the south. Rain possible Monday. And then again, we welcome fall around 2 p.m. on Monday, but still, relatively speaking, our temperatures slightly above or at seasonal. So it looks to be quite a beautiful weekend. And even tomorrow, Carlyle, get out there, enjoy it. Before you know it, it'll be that cold November rain that nobody really likes. Right?
It can stay a while, so I think we'll take that for sure, Rita. Thanks very much. Still ahead, a plea for help as Canadian small businesses feel the impact of an economic downturn.
Make sure you join us tomorrow morning at 7:10, the new time for Prize Town. Get a cool prize up for grabs.
Yeah, early retirement, vacations on the beach. We have a $100 OLG voucher up for grabs. Good luck.
An all-electric Expo in London today, giving consumers a chance to check out new products. The Power Shift Expo at Stronach Arena was organized by the City of London and London Hydro. It featured electric vehicles, bicycles, and power tools, as well as information on programs available to save customers money on their power bills. Organizers say they were there to encourage people to shift to electric sources, despite some consumer and political pushback.
Yeah, I think we educate people to make the choices that are right for them. We're not telling anyone that they have to go into an EV or they have to put solar panels on their home, but we're just educating people so that they know what's available and what's right for them.
Union leaders representing WestJet flight attendants want to start contract negotiations. They've served notice to bargain a new collective agreement. The current contract expires December 31st. Union leaders say they want compensation for unpaid work, much like their Air Canada counterparts went on strike over. Meanwhile, the federal government's probe into unpaid airline work is expected to wrap up by early December. Canada's Competition Bureau has launched a market study, an effort to make sure our big banks are treating Canadian companies fairly. As Pat Foran reports, those businesses are already dealing with a host of new challenges brought on by the trade war.
Millions of Canadians are employed at small businesses, and every day they create goods and services to keep Canada's economy moving forward. According to the Competition Bureau, small businesses, which account for 1 to 99 employees, make up 98% of all businesses in Canada.
The current trade environment obviously puts us in a situation where competition is here at home is more important than ever.
The Bureau has launched a market study into how small businesses are treated, especially by Canada's major lenders. There are concerns because the lending sector is dominated by big banks. New or smaller lenders may face barriers to entry. Switching between lenders can be challenging, and small businesses face higher borrowing costs than larger firms. A small business needs access to loans to grow and stay afloat.
There are some signs that they're facing some persistent challenges in terms of their access to competitive financing terms.
The cost of getting a loan has always been higher for smaller companies. They are seen as bigger risks.
Business groups say small companies face added scrutiny trying to get loans, and as bank branches close, there are fewer chances for face-to-face interactions. With current trade tensions and a slowing economy, many are concerned about their future.
The optimism is definitely down. I think people are a little worried. Those that are directly impacted by tariffs are particularly having a tough time.
It's managing things week to week, month to month, and getting through it. It is a game of survival for a lot of these small businesses.
Merchant Growth provides financing for small businesses. It says it can step in to help companies that may not be able to get loans from a traditional lender.
What we're able to do is make it so fast that a business owner can apply in the morning, get funded by the evening, and that time savings is very valuable.
The Bureau's market study will concentrate mostly on term loans. Businesses can take part in the study by going to the Bureau's website to provide feedback. The deadline to take part is October 3rd. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up today on strength in the technology sector. The TSX climbed 132 points. In New York, the Dow added 124, the Nasdaq up 209. Canadian dollar down 1/5 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold lost almost $40 an ounce, and oil dropped 44 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, planning for a major milestone. Details on the 75th anniversary celebrations at Catholic Central High School. Welcome back. London police are asking for public help finding a driver who passed a stopped school bus. The incident happened Tuesday morning on Pond Mills Road. Police have released this dash cam video showing someone driving a silver sedan passing the bus while its lights flash. Anyone with additional video footage or who saw the incident is asked to contact police. Two Bruce County musicians won big at the Canadian Country Music Association Awards over the weekend. Owen Riegling won Album of the Year for Bruce County, an ode to his time growing up near Mildmay. Riegling also won Songwriter of the Year and Breakthrough Artist at last year's award show. Meanwhile, Owen Sound's Tyler Beckett was named Canada's top fiddler, his first CCMA award. A new recreation space opened in Huron County today.
There we go.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony for Wingham's new pickleball and tennis courts. The project was paid for by the Vance Fund and the North Huron Township. Locals say the sports are growing in popularity in the region, and these resurfaced courts are expected to last for decades.
No, absolutely. When you talk about community coming together and you talk about community building, a piece of that is the quality of life, and having opportunities and facilities such as these in place really represents that opportunity for the community to come together, have an opportunity to play, have some fun, and enjoy quality of life right in their own backyard.
One of London's most storied high schools is marking a milestone anniversary this weekend. With more on the special events coming up at Catholic Central, here's Sean Irvin.
Catholic Central High School, or as it's more commonly known, CCH, is turning 75. Long considered the hub of Catholic education in London, CCH is known to be an academic and athletic powerhouse. It is a reputation that will be celebrated during multiple events for current and former students and staff this Saturday. First up, a noon-hour church service, followed by an open house at the school from 1 until 3. It will feature not only tours, but a chance to relive the past.
There's going to be tons of archival footage, photography. We're going to have videos constantly being played in the background with that archival footage.
Many of those memories will touch on school milestones, academic achievements, famous alumni, sports dominance, music, and faith visits.
Our choir traveled to Rome and sang in a personal audience with the Pope twice. We put on major school productions.
But the memories extend beyond the campus. Through the decades, CCH students have raised funds and volunteered to help London.
it's usually CCH that you're going to see on the front lines as far as contribution, as far as just achievements in general.
It's just such a wonderful spirit that the school has and the attitude it has.
The reunion will conclude with evening social events off campus. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Hey there, making plans for the weekend. We have your London list, which is a rundown of what's happening in the community and around the region this weekend. We're joined by KP from Mornings on 97.5 Virgin Radio. KP, let's get to it. Fair season continues. We just wrapped up the Western Fair, but there's still some fair fun to be had.
Oh, I just had my first funnel cake last weekend at the fair, and it was delectable. So if you want to get the fair going, you have a lot of fun with the whole family. We've got the Glencoe Fair, we've got the Thorndale Fair, and we have the Stratford Fair as well. So definitely check those out. They're both on, or all three of them rather, are on all weekend long. So lots of activities, lots of excitement to go and check out.
All right, London Nights. Oh, home opener.
Yeah, it's our home opener. Bust out the green, the jerseys, whatever you've got going on, because they're taking on the Owen Sound Attack. Puck drops at Canada Life Place at 7 o'clock on Friday night. But prior to, actually, it's the Fan Fest for the home opener. So it's going to be in and around kind of the Jubilee Square in front of Canada Life Place and Dundas Place as well. So go and check that out. It's going to be a party. They always put on such a great time every year.
All right, what's happening at Centennial Hall?
This is cute. It's Menopause the Musical.
Isn't the change supposed to be the silent passage?
Ladies, it's not the silent passage anymore. It's change, 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 change.
So this is like huge. It blew up. They tour around. This show is pretty fantastic. A lot of hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and so on. It's for women in Bloomingdale's that bond over basically going through menopause together.
Okay.
And it's really cute. It's really funny. It's just a whole lot of fun. So if you want to check that out, it's happening at Centennial Hall Friday night.
All right, and there's a big walk this weekend in support of the Kidney Foundation.
There is. So that's Sunday morning at Gibbons Park, and that's the Kidney Walk. So again, it's you can check out Kidney Foundation for all the details on that website for registration. It's all happening Sunday morning. So get a team or just show up by yourself, whatever, get some fresh air and support a really fantastic cause.
And there's a great fundraiser in support of growing chefs coming up.
Yeah, it's a big pizza party. I'm so sad I missed it last year. I've only heard good things. A big wood oven. They make this fantastic pizza at their Growing Chefs location in downtown London on King Street. So you have to go and check it out. It's happening Friday night. All the details on their website. But again, it's just such a party and the best pizza you're ever going to have. And you're supporting a fantastic cause. So definitely check that one out.
All right, make sure you get your tickets beforehand.
Yes.
All right, and Fairway Fest.
Fairway Fest. I'm so excited. So I already have my 90s outfit all picked out. It's happening.
Oh my gosh, she has the best. You're always on.
Oh, you're so sweet. I don't know. I need more neon. So it's going to be.
Never have I heard anyone say that.
I know, right? It's probably because it's not 1994. But, you know, we're going to have a whole party at East Park. And it's Fairway Fest. It's going to be I Love the 90s night. So we've got a ton of awesome performers. Rob Bass, Young MC, Naughty by Nature, CNC Music Factory. It's going to be just a whole party. So definitely. Bust a Move. That's one of the songs, Young MC. So it's going to be a big party. So definitely come on out. Tickets are available for that eastparklondon.com if you haven't grabbed those yet.
And it's numerous concert nights. There are also a number of other bands playing. It sounds like it is going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend at East Park again, Fairway Fest. That's your London list, and we'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on CTV News, a city task force poised to recommend a substantial pay raise for councillors. How much of an increase would they get? We'll explain tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
A Day is back on 97.5 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Check out tonight's weather photos sent in from our viewers Doug and Debbie Shaw. It's a beautiful close-up of a common eastern bumblebee. Thanks so much for sharing. An end to summer-like temperatures Friday. We're in for a mix of sun and cloud and cooler conditions for tomorrow and Saturday. Slightly warmer but still dry on Sunday. Fall officially arrives Monday afternoon, and with that, we'll get some much-needed rainfall early next week.
Gas prices are dropping as stations switch over to a cheaper blend of winter fuel. Just this morning, there was a roughly 10% drop. The gas stations are required to use a summer blend from mid-April to mid-September, and industry analysts say there could be another 1 to 2 cent per litre drop by the end of this week. A new report suggests Canada's short-term targets for reducing emissions are now out of reach after levels remained unchanged last year. According to the Canadian Climate Institute, national greenhouse gas emissions for 2024 totaled nearly 700 million tons. Canada has committed to reducing emissions from 40 to 45% below 2005 levels by 2030. However, the report notes we're only about 8% lower right now. To reach the target, we would need to lower emissions by 40 million tons a year, which the Climate Institute says is impossible. Residents in Vaughan, north of Toronto, say there's an out-of-control coyote problem in their community. Video from a driveway surveillance camera shows a pack appearing to fight over something on the ground. As many as 8 coyotes can be seen involved. Local officials say they seem to be mostly concentrated in the Thornhill area of Vaughan, where 240 of the nearly 400 coyote sightings have been reported this year. A group of volunteers near Ottawa are transforming something most people just throw away into a valuable comfort for people experiencing homelessness. With more on their project, here's Caitlin Wilson.
On a Tuesday night in Greeley, the church pews are empty, but the back room is full of volunteers woven together by purpose.
You can see over here where they're all doing it just over and under, back and forth, one end to the other.
Turning milk bags, a lot of milk bags, into something that can make a real difference.
It is just providing a little bit of comfort, one bag at a time.
Comfort that comes in the form of sleeping mats, a lifeline for those without a bed to call their own.
There's a lot of people in the city sleeping rough, especially with it being summer. The shelters are over capacity, so people will be sleeping outside, and they'll use these mats instead of sleeping just on the bare ground.
It takes teamwork.
This is where it starts. The bags are flattened. There's 3 simple cuts done, so the bottom is cut off.
Then they're looped together before the weaving begins, and it takes about 450 milk bags to make just one mat. Since the initiative began 3 years ago, more than 430 mats have been woven, plus around 400 portable sitting pads.
It's the fact that we're helping people, and it's also helping the environment as well. It's multifaceted.
And that's no small feat. The group partners with Earth Hub, a local environmental group that collects the bags, diverting more than 460,000 from the landfill since 2019.
The interesting thing about milk bags is they actually have the recycling symbol on them, but milk bags are not accepted in the blue bin in Ottawa. So therefore, they would have to go to the landfill. So we're trying to reuse them first before they end up there.
A labor of love woven into every mat, transforming plastic pollution into compassion and comfort.
As long as there's a need, we're not stopping. And everybody here will tell you the same thing.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
A prickly situation for some local police officers this past weekend. Saugeen Shores Police released this photo, the reason for their call. They say someone found the baby porcupine in their garage, and police say they were able to corral the young animal into a plastic bin, and it was released back into the wild, safe and sound. And finally tonight, a massive payout for 14 lottery players in a remote northern community. They split a $50 million jackpot, getting their checks today. With more, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Bonne Espérance is a postcard pretty small fishing village that hit the jackpot. And marking a first in its history, Lotto Quebec chartered a small plane and invited journalists, big checks in hand. Just about all of the village's 500 souls gathered to celebrate the $50 million win.
Congratulations. Au nom de l'Auto-Québec, il me fait vraiment plaisir de vous remettre ce chèque de 50 millions de dollars. Félicitations.
A moment, as the mayor said, that will mark the history of Bonne Espérance.
In a million years did I ever even dream of coming here and doing this. This is fantastic.
It's at St. Paul's General Store, a few kilometers away, that the ticket to the Good Life, well, to 14 good lives, was sold. The retailer gets a commission. That's this check. And Della Spingle, who owns the store with her husband, is also among winners.
Oh, there was lots of screaming and yelling and yahoo.
The group organized by the General Store has been together for nearly 20 years, winning very little over the years. And so there was a lot of disbelief when a chain of calls started to reach the winners. And as one might expect, news spread fast.
I was just completely frozen. I was shaking. I said, this can't be real. This is not real. You know, like, I can't believe this is happening. It was so weird.
The winners began to gather at the General Store.
Between 14 of you, you won 50 million.
Oh my God!
3.5 million each.
That's Carolyn Sims with 11 children to spoil, who still can't believe there's a check to her name that size.
I couldn't believe it, and I still can't. It's hard to imagine.
It's emotional. It changes your life. Then there's Loretta Cabot-Griffin.
They retired from the fish plant.
She's a 72-year-old fish plant worker, and she hung up, or well, threw out her hairnet. And now retiring. 4 winners live on the same street. They've now dubbed it Millionaires Row, a massive transformation in a town where the main industry is fishing, and that has, over the years, struggled through some hard times. And so, as they say, winning the lottery won't change the world, but it is certainly transforming Bonne Espérance. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Bonne Espérance, Quebec.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.